Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video on housing in New World and why you need to get a house ASAP. These are one of the best things that you can actually get in New World once you start to get up to those level 40s and 50s where you've got a bit more cash spare, sort of something to spend your gold on, and it's a very good thing for multiple different reasons which I'm going to go over in today's video. So starting off here, this is my house in Everfall. As you guys can see if I open the housing menu, I am currently on the top here or just below this person right here. So they're on 21,000, I'm on 14,000 points, so they're doing really well. But as you can see, if your house is the top one, it says displayed publicly. So when we look here, this is actually my house because you can see it, but for everybody else it'll be that person's house. As if we go past this one, you can see that they've got like the little mailbox outside and the cannon and stuff, which is cool. Very cool pirate themed stuff there. And then obviously you can go into your house and you can kind of like have a look around. First thing to know about houses, as you can see at the top, you do have to pay rent on them, and this is due every 7 days. So obviously in Everfall, ours is pretty high tax on my server, so yeah, it's kind of quite high up there. But if you don't pay your tax, you will get trophy buffs disabled, you will get fast travel disabled, and the decoration score will decrease. So those are things that I'm going to go into in the video, but just as a heads up before we get into this, you do have to pay taxes on houses, so again, be mindful of where you purchase it. If you do actually go and look on the map, you can see that Everfall, yeah, they've got pretty high taxes here, to be honest. It's 7%, which is average, but yeah, fairly high. But if you look somewhere maybe like Morningdale, where you can see I've got another house here, you can see the little house recall icon, and this one is at 10%, so it's pretty high there. But if we look somewhere like Windswood, this place has only got 5, so take your pick, but obviously this can change as governing companies of the settlements change as well, so just be aware, you might get some funky stuff coming up there with people who kind of take over. Now, as you guys can see, I've got my little doggo sat in front of the fire here. That is my luck trophy up there. I've got my chest under here. I've got some decorations, and yeah, kind of a lot going on, so I'm going to get into it here. Trophies first of all then. So these trophies up here, as you guys can see, that one is placed on the wall, and what the luck trophy does is increase my global luck in the game. Now, if we go over to the crafting station or the engineering station, that is actually where you're able to do furnishing in this game. And furnishing is the skill that allows you to craft decorations and storage chests and trophies for your house, which are going to be the most important, the storage chests and the trophies. So if we go over to here, I'm just going to minimize all of the other tabs. And if we go down to the engineering stuff, so you guys can see there's small furnishings. I can make chairs, tables, stools, that kind of thing. Then you've got desks, bookcases. As you will have seen in the house, I did make quite a few of these different ones as I've been leveling up. And I'm only at level 53. Ignore the abandoning event thing, it's still going on, unfortunately. But underneath that, you can just see there that I've got 53 levels in this. So there's quite a lot of stuff you can do here. Now, on this list, you can see that once you get to level 35, you can make something called a hewn log storage chest. And this one increases your storage by 250 when you place it in a house. It costs these materials here, but the main thing here is the minor rune of holding, which means you will have to graft for the faction tokens if you want to get this. Now, do not fear, that's not the only option. So if you look down on this list at level 85, you actually unlock the iron storage chest, but this one does require a major rune of holding, but this one is a lot better, increases your storage by a lot more. And when we say it increases the storage, we mean of that settlement's holding, so it's the same storage between your house and your storage shed. So overall, it means you can get more storage in that settlement, which is really good, particularly if it's like your home settlement, like Everfall is for me, where I do all my crafting, refining, all that kind of good stuff. That's where I want the most storage, so that's where I've bought my tier 4 house. As you guys can see here, you've got luck trophies. You will need a rabbit's foot in order to be able to craft one of these, and when you do get a rabbit's foot, that's when these will appear up and you get the other materials and you can actually craft these, and it increases it. It says a small bonus, tier 4 one is a large bonus, and tier 5 one, which are rumoured to be in the game now, legendary ones, which are a huge bonus to luck, and it just increases the luck that you get from drops in and around the world from chests and from mobs, which is really nice. And then you can also get them for gathering, for combat, so minor wildlife combat, so it's battling against certain enemies, so any wildlife there for that one. You can get like weaponsmithing, crafting, so any weaponsmithing you do is a little bit better. And then again, you can get higher versions of these as you level up your furnishing as well. Now, the reason these are so good is because if you actually get on your luck trophy, this is one of the only ways in the entire game to actually increase your drops from things like the dragon glory. So for any of you you that have done Arcana, you'll know that you need to get those flowers to actually get the tier 4 potions. They're very rare drops, so if you wear a full set of harvesting gear, you have luck on your sickle, and you have a luck trophy. They drop very, very often in comparison to how rare they are usually, which means you can actually stockpile a few of these potions and some of the other rarer things and rarer drops from around the world. And on top of this, things like when you're mining, so you've got your mining trophy here. When this one is active, you get a better chance at getting things like the Fey Iron, which is the special iron variant you can get from iron nodes and such like that. So it's actually the special variant, not the raw drops. You don't get more raw drops. Obviously with mining, you get a slightly better chance of getting gems as well, which is nice, but it is kind of those rare crafting materials that you get an extra look at getting with these trophies. And like I mentioned there, I have got a tier 4 house, but that means there is 4 tiers of houses in this game. The first one costs 5,000, tier 2 is 10,000, tier 3 is 15,000, and tier 4 is 20,000. Now obviously if you're on first time purchase bonus, that is a little bit less, but you can see right here, you can check this out. So this is 20,000. If we click into this, you can put 200 items by default in. Obviously bear in mind that you can then increase that by increasing your territory standing, reputation in an area. Each time you level up, you get a chance at getting an increased amount of decorations, so bear that in mind as well. But by default, 200 items, 2-hour fast cooldown, which is for fast travel, very, very useful, one of the main perks of having a house, and of course 5 trophy slots. Now one thing to note, the trophy slots are the same throughout every tier of house in the game, so if you are trying to stockpile trophies, just buy 1 tier 4 one or buy 3 tier 1 ones. It doesn't matter, they're all going to be the same. So if you're just going for trophies, just go for the tier 1s. If you are going for the fast travels as well though, 2 hours on that tier 4 one. Then when we go down to tier 3, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours for a tier 3 house, and 4 hours for a tier 4 house. So that means that if you want to get the fast travel as quick as possible, then you're obviously wanting to go for those higher tier houses. But if you run around, you can see this one is a tier 2 house. You get a 3-hour cooldown, 5 trophy slots the same, but only 125 items. However, it is only 10,000 gold and 700 per period for the tax there, whereas mine's nearly double that. So it is kind of a money game. See how much money you've got spare at the moment. Spare you could put on a property. Again, you can buy different ones around the city. You literally, the way to tell is go up to them and see what they cost. And as I say there, if you've got that first time purchase, it's going to be half price, and if your company owns that settlement as well, it's going to be even cheaper for you. So that's going to be really, really good to do, to combine the both if you can. Now looking at the fast travel a little bit more in depth, then as you guys can see, I have got a fast travel here, but you can see that I've got a 1-hour 48 cooldown, so I just used it before starting to record this video, and it's only going to cost me 45 as of to actually travel to Everfall by resetting that. So I would click that, reset it, and then travel there, as opposed to the fast travel cost base value, which is 114. Now the other benefit of fast traveling to a house is that you can actually do it from anywhere in the wilderness, just like you can with a recall to the inn. So like for example, if I go to my Brightwood Inn, I can click recall to inn. That will work from anywhere. It's exactly the same with any house recall, which is really, really nice. So essentially it's a third of the price of the fast travel recall price. You can do it from anywhere, and you can do this really, really often. Now obviously let's look at maybe Morningdale for an example. This one is a house where I have got a tier 4, so it's just a 5,000 very basic house simply for the fast travel there. But as you guys can see, even though this respawn time is longer, I've got 2 hours 24, because this started on 4 hours, bigger proportion of this timer has gone, so it's only going to cost me 30 as of to reset that and travel over there again, as opposed to 207. So you're making a huge saving on fast traveling between places when you've got a home there. And on top of that, you can do this with pretty much a full inventory, providing you're not over encumbered. You can do it right up to like 0.1 kilograms off being max, and you can travel straight over there, which is great if you're going somewhere for crafting or gathering and then want to come back to your home city or home settlement. That is absolutely fantastic. Now, if you are looking at strategic house placing, this is going to be a big thing for the end game. You guys will see that there's certain areas like Shattered Mountains where you'll be spending a lot of time when you're 60 plus. Equally, Reekwater is a really, really good place for when you're 60 plus, and of course Ebonscale Reach. These then obviously paired with Great Cleave, you're still going to be in quite a lot, and Eden's Grove as well. So these areas are kind of like where you want to be aiming. Now obviously you can't buy houses in Shattered Mountains, Great Cleave or Eden's Grove, so those ones I recommend setting a recall in at one of them. Personally, I like to do Shattered Mountains. It's just we have wars going on in Brightwood right now on my server, so that's why I've kind of got my inset there, so I can travel back and sign up for the war when that's gone up. So that's really, really cool. But otherwise, I would probably have it in Shattered Mountains, as that's where I'm going to be doing mainly my 65 elite zones for that gear score increase, which I've talked about in previous videos. So what would I recommend for strategic placing of houses? Well, I would recommend either you place one in Ebonscale Reach, or Reekwater, or both, because those are going to be your main endgame zones. That being said, you also do need to travel around to all of these places like Cutlass Keys, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, Restless Shore, for all of your legendary weapon quests that you get to when you get to level 60 in the game. So spoiler for anyone that's not got there yet, those quests have you traveling around the map somewhat, so you will want to make sure you've strategically placed your houses in order to maybe get across the map a little bit easier. For me personally, like I said, I've got one in Everfall, which gets me pretty central, and then I can teleport out to most places for fairly cheap cost after that. Obviously, if you own a territory, so for example, if I was to travel from Everfall to Morningdale, it would cost me less than Everfall to maybe Ebonscale, simply because we own the territory, so we get a discount there, so bear that in mind as well. But obviously, I do have a house here right now. I'll probably get rid of this home in Morningdale and swap it down to Reekwater, even though it's quite close to Everfall. Same with Ebonscale Reach, just simply because I'm going to be going to these places a lot more often, and it's not always that I'm going to be in Everfall or have that one off cooldown, so then I've got an extra one out to the side. Personally, I really like Ebonscale Reach, so I'm going to buy my third home there regardless, just because I very much like the environment of it. But feel free to choose wherever you want to make your house to be. It's entirely personal preference, but as I say, if you are going to be farming those endgame zones, Ebonscale Reach, you've got a level 62 one just down here, which is Imperial Palace. Reekwater, you've got the Siren Queen's stand over here, and you've also got Lazarus in this area, so you're going to want this one to probably be a hotspot area for you. And I would recommend putting your recall either in Eden's Grove, Great Cleave, or Shattered Mountains to make the most out of that, because you do get a free recall there every hour as well. Finally, just touching back in on the storage then for this one. So for housing storage, as you guys can see, unfortunately the abandoned event thing is at the top, but you can see that I've got 2,200 kilograms of storage in Everfall, which is a ton more than what you can usually get even with upgraded storage, and that is through the storage upgrades that I've got in my house. You guys will be able to see these if you go to the trading outpost and type in storage. You'll see here storage chests, all types of different ones. Like I mentioned at the start and showed you guys, you can actually craft these if you level up your furnishing as well, but they're generally not that expensive. So the hewn one, which is the first one you can get, it's up there for 200, basically 300 gold right now. The minor rune of hurling costs you 250 alone, so this is only literally costing you basically 40 gold, which is very cheap, so it's easy to get. If you look at some of the more expensive ones, so for example the iron storage chest, which is a little bit better, these ones are 1,500 each. That's because they do require a higher level in the actual skill of furnishing to craft and a few more materials, but these increase your storage by about 250, I think it is, each time, which is really nice and will get you a massive boost on your desired outpost. So I'd certainly recommend investing in those if you can, or even maybe some of the higher tier ones if you have the money to do that, if you're not going to craft them yourself as well. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hopefully you did find this video useful and informative, and it means you should get a house ASAP. Hopefully this video has shown you why that is so important and the benefits that it can actually bring you. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do make sure you leave a like on it down below, as it really does help myself and the channel out massively. If you are new here to the channel and you would like to see more New World content, I've got tons of guides, gameplays, tips and tricks, and some sneaky little hidden things that I've found out coming up for you guys very soon. I upload daily, so make sure you stay tuned to the channel so you don't miss out on any of those. Other than that, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care and peace.